Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Go on.
Welcome in, Dave. Hey, welcome into the pre-match pump up. Dave, good morning. Ash, good morning. The chat, good morning. As you can see here in Texas, the sun hasn't risen yet, but I am too blessed to be stressed. I hope you are as well. Ready for kickoff in just about an hour and a half from now. Dave, I'll throw it over to you. How are you feeling this morning? Good morning.
Yeah, I'm feeling absolutely fantastic. Christmas right around the corner. Penultimate game before Christmas. 6 points off top. No City playing this weekend. Liverpool and Arsenal playing each other. Look, today could be a day where we lay down our title credentials. You know, people were saying 10 games in, it was too soon. Well, we're halfway through now, just about. So today's a massive opportunity for us to at least lay down an outside bet. Whether it'll happen or not is a different story, but it's a huge opportunity for us. And also, very happy Christmas to everybody out there. All the Spurs fans worldwide. Hopefully, you have a great time and you're blessed with being surrounded by family and food. That's what it's all about. So hopefully you all have a great time. But I'm pumped today. Fair play to the Premier League as well, giving us the toffees right before Christmas, tying in with some tradition, which is always nice to see. Not going to be an easy game today. It's going to be very, very frustrating, but good teams find a way against teams like this. So let's see how we do. By the way, just quickly, the commitment from Jacob, by the way, it's very early where he is. So fair play to him, man.
Hey, appreciate that. I did wake up extra early. We did think the show started about 30 minutes before, and then we fixed it to. There was a little bit confusion on the time this morning, but make no confusion. We have Ash Maddock in the house. Ash, good morning, my brother. How are you doing? How are you feeling going into this match? And obviously, happy holidays to you, my friend.
Yeah, my broskies, I'm good, man. It's good to see you guys. I'm here for that festive cheer, and hopefully we can come up with some positivity today. Like I'm hoping for a positive result. The manager, he's a winner. He said that many a time. He likes to win, and hopefully the players understand that we can produce on that level against a mean Everton team, a very mean Everton team. So people say that, if it wasn't for the points deduction, that they'd be ninth. So we're not facing a bottom-sided team. We're playing a competent team that can and will cause problems at times.
Yeah, I don't know where they would be in the table, but I do know that they would be above Chelsea. I do know that much if they weren't deducted 10 points. So that's kind of fun. I look at the squads and more or less, I've been listening to some Everton podcasts and stuff. They kind of seem to be going through a little bit of an injury slump as well. Doucouré is a obviously pivotal piece for them and Sean Dyche and what they're trying to instill over there. But Dave, for you, do you think it's just a matter? I mean, we do technically have more people injured. I'm not trying to make it some kind of measuring contest, but Dave, do you see the injury crisis on both sides? Just that's just an excuse. We should go get the job done regardless.
Um, Look, I do think it's somewhat of an excuse because at the end of the day, we know with modern day football and the amount of games you're asked to play now, that's a squad game. So if your squad ain't good enough, that's a reflection on you and you not maybe doing things as correct as you should. So look, for me, I do think it's a bit of a cop out. We've turned the corner since our injury crisis. Yes, it can have a bit of an impact, but realistically, everybody, especially with the way we're playing now in the last few years we've gone through, everyone should be chomping at the bit, to try and give us fans a bit of success. Look, we have a lot more injuries than them, a lot more detrimental injuries, in terms of Madison, Van de Ven, Bentacore, people like that. I think they're missing Decore. I think Ashley Young might be out. And I think Seamus Coleman's being assessed. So they don't actually have that real. And I think Gomez is out as well. So they don't actually have that long of an injury list compared to what we do. However, their injuries will probably affect them a bit more because I think they have a bit more of a smaller squad to rely on than we do. But look, injuries is just something that shows itself up during the season. You have to learn to handle it. We're doing that. We're still playing some good football. The results are starting to get on the board. And long may it continue. If we can keep this run until we get some of the injured players back, and then we have a January transfer window right around the corner. Hopefully, the club do a bit of business there. Who knows where it can take us? But yeah, ours is way worse than Everton's for sure.
I agree with you, Ash. For you, we did speak about this a little bit yesterday, so I kind of know where you're at. But I want you to first of all, before Ash goes on, make sure there's over 200 of y'all in the house. Make sure you are hitting a like on the video. It's absolutely free. It does help. The video helps YouTube find We Are Tottenham TV. So if you don't want everyone finding We Are Tottenham TV, just make sure you are hitting that like. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel, etc., etc.
Give
But
us a spin.
Ash.
Give us a spin quickly, Jacob.
You want to see the Romero?
Ah, the Rambam. Look at that. That's sexy.
Yeah,
I had to get it. I had to get one. I did get. You probably can't see it; it's too dark. But when the sun rises, you'll see. I've got the Sun 7 and the away kit over there. I was wearing it yesterday, but figured I'm looking at Romero to have a big day. Look, we're down, but we've never been out. We've gotten up and we've gotten down again. And I think Udogie and Basuma's gotten me down, gotten us down a little bit. So I'm looking to our leaders like Son and Romero to really kind of step up today. And, hey, I'm wearing the shirt for Romero. I need him to play clean. No yellows today, no yellows. He is on accumulation.
Yeah.
Anyone else concerned that Romero might be the next one to miss Brighton because of accumulation? Ash, I'll throw it to you. Are you worried about just the penalty problem? I think I saw somewhere on Twitter we were the most penalized, or we were the most carded team or something like that, or we were the most. I'll have to look it up exactly. But
we've got 4 cards in 17 games, and it's basically double, or basically it's what we've got over the last 2 seasons combined. So that's the stat.
Yeah.
I
think like we're like 3rd or 4th when it comes to yellows, and we're like joint top in terms of red cards. So, yes, make of that what you will. However, it's not just Romero we have to be worried about. It's also Pape Matar Sarr. And as a lot of people have realized how important this kid actually is in that midfield. So I'm worried for both of them, if I'm being honest. I want them to get through to Brighton and just get to that new year. Not even Brighton, just get through that new year. And then all of a sudden, we can stop stressing, stop worrying. But it is an issue that we find ourselves in, unfortunately, for whatever reason. But I'm sure the boys will be aware of it. I'm sure they're professional enough to keep the intensity and drive up. It's not going to stop our performance. We will be defending high up the pitch. We will be putting a lot of pressure on Everton. We'll have a lot of ball as well, because I think the last game Everton played, Premier League game anyway, was against Burnley, and Burnley had 60% of the ball. So if Burnley will have 60% of the ball, imagine how much percent of the ball we will have. But it's just a case of what we do with it and how effective we can beat their press, because they're going to be super narrow. They're going to be very low in their half. I was looking at the statistics today, and funny enough, Everton are joint top in terms of goals not letting in. So the least amount of goals not being let in, Everton are joint with Liverpool. So they've got that Merseyside wall at the moment. So that's something we're going to need to break down. I remember against Liverpool, we had to play against that 9 men, and they literally had the goalkeeper and 8 men in the box. I imagine Everton doing exactly the same, having a goalkeeper and have about 8 or 9 men just spread across that box and making it ultra difficult for us to break down, because I do see us having a lot of the ball.
Ash is right, though. It is going to be a very sort of long, frustrating game, sort of like the West Ham game, the Forest game. It's just about us coming out the right side of it. You have to remember, Everton, 4 wins on the bounce with 4 clean sheets minus the Carabao Cup game. So, I mean, they are going to be very hard to break down. But I do think this is where maybe Richarlison gives us that point of difference. Against Forest, we were putting balls in from the box from all angles. Porro was doing it, Kulu was doing it, Son was doing it. And ultimately, we got that first goal from that header, from putting balls in the box. So I want to see more of that again today. Where we have struggled against likes of West Ham, Brentford, when we haven't had Richarlison through the middle and we're having to play Everton in front of them, we cannot get caught back into that trap, because that's the way these teams set up, and that's ultimately what they want you to do. The aim of the game today is get the ball in the box and cause chaos. Get men in there, commit men. So let's see what happens on that front. Also, just on the sort of suspensions, Jacob, for me, I actually think Tottenham have been a bit hard done by this season. I think when you look at even Destiny Udogie's yellow card, right? That Muppet, what was his name? I can't remember. He's not even that good, so I don't remember his name. But, he made about 6 challenges and was playing to the referee, trying to get our players
their
every
captain,
single time.
Hayes or
Udogie,
something like that?
Yates. Is it Yates?
Yates, that's
Yates,
it, yeah.
Yates, their captain,
Yates, I'm going to call him Yeast because he's pissing me off. But when it comes to that guy, then Udogie puts a shoulder to shoulder, he goes down and we get a yellow card. That's happened time and time again this season. During the game, I don't think we get the rub of the green in terms of decisions, but I also think VAR have been a bit harsh on us as well, if you want me to be brutally honest on that. But also, I don't have a problem with that stat. That just shows me that we've got a team that are out there trying, playing, and for the fans and the badge. In seasons gone by, the biggest argument from my point of view was they're not even trying out there. They're not running. They're not committed. This, that, and the other. So that sort of stat doesn't bother me. I actually don't mind being the modern day crazy gang. But the referees have done that poor of a job this season. I bought a referees kit, FIFA official standard referees kit. So I'm actually going to re-referee the game myself today on my own watch along to see if I can do a better job. And if I do, you might see me being a referee in the future.
I like to see that, Dave. Honestly, you got the yellow card and the red. Can Jack get a yellow card if he says something out of bounds? Is the panel, is the chat, anyone getting? Your green screen's playing with it a little bit, but
yeah,
there it is. I see it. There it is.
All right,
then yellow card at the back. Then the whistle to go with it as well. So yeah, I'll be refereeing it myself, because I think they do an awful job.
Yeah. It's interesting you mentioned that Udogi challenge, because I did think it was shoulder to shoulder and the entirety of the week, and then the following Saturday and Sunday, I think I saw 3 per day. It's just one of the run-of-the-mill challenges. I thought it was very hard done by, like you mentioned, Yeast in the first 90 seconds of our match versus Nottingham Forest was fouled Sonny about 4 times. So, but none of that was warranting of a card. But hey, personally,
you think you should be able to rescind yellow cards? Do you think that should be a thing? Because red cards they can rescind, but if they've got a decision wrong, do you think they should be able to take a decision back if they've made a mistake?
Absolutely. The same way they rescind straight reds, I think. Dave, what about you?
Yeah, look, I think it would be nice to sort of be an option, because I feel like the 2 suspensions that Udogi has had to serve this year, I think both on both occasions, 2 to 3 of the yellow cards were very harsh on the kid, which leads to suspension, which can lead to a drop in results and points on the board. So I do think it should be an option. But also, I just want to see the referee pull out more yellow cards to teams a lot earlier. You go back to Crystal Palace. They routinely pulled us down, took it in turns, pulling us down left, right, and centre. They didn't get a card until the injury time board was showing. Forest the other day didn't get any yellow cards until the game was more or less over. Fulham, when we played them at home on our own pitch, they didn't get any yellow cards till the second half. But as soon as we made one challenge, yellow card was out, despite Paulinho routinely pulling down players. So there seems to be a common theme going on here, which I do not like.
That's a very good point that you bring up, and I think before Sonny's converted penalty the other day, that's the only time we've been awarded a penalty. And I remember talking about it in the summer when Kane left, was who's going to come in and take the penalties for us? Is it going to be Son? Is it going to be Madison? There was a lot of conversation around it, and at least now we know. But look, the lineup does come out in about 10 minutes per EJ's flame, is what they're telling us. So, hey, I'm pretty excited at what we might put forward. But for me, I'm going to start and just say, no Udogi. I don't want to see Ben Davies moved out to the left back. I think we've seen 2 good shifts put in by Ben Davies. We're all praising Ben Davies' performance the past 2 matches. Keep him in the position in which we are praising him for, is my opinion. Ash, do you feel any differently? Do you want to see Ben Davies shifted out to the left at all? And then maybe we look, Ashley Phillips is now healthy again. Or do you think maybe it's just Emerson Royale, we throw him out there at the left back? Where are you at?
I mean, I'd be a bit harsh on Davies after his performances since Man City. I think he's been, or even argue Wolves. I think even though we lost against Wolves, out of the 2 centre backs between him and Royale, I think he was Dyer, sorry. Him and Dyer, I think he was the better of the centre backs. Do you know what I mean? He didn't have any mistakes in him that game. And I think he just pushed on since then. He hasn't done too much wrong, in my opinion. On the ball, he could be a little bit quicker, but I think he's working hard. I think Ange just got that message across to him to kind of shift that ball out to the left or go over the top a bit quicker and behind. But in terms of that challenge for Newcastle, when he stops Isaac from tapping that ball in, I think, he needs to keep that partnership. We need to keep some relationships on the pitch. And I think centre backs is not something that you change regularly. You know what I mean?
Yes, Ash. Yes. That's such a great point.
Left back, I know we've seen Emerson there before. I don't think we have much other options. I know he doesn't get too far forward, but at least defensively, Everton do look to hit us on the counter attack. They're going to try and hit those balls over the top. Not sure what side Dwight McNeil's on.
The left side. He's on their left.
Yeah.
He's on their left. So he'll be going to Pedro Porro.
Okay, cool. That's no problem. Mankalenko as well. He's on the left as well, isn't he?
He's
Mankalenko.
injured, actually, isn't he? Isn't he out?
He's 50-50. He's like, I think to my understanding is he's the same status. Like most of the fan channels have predicted him in their starting lineup.
Okay.
However, you go to most websites, he is presumed doubtful. But so is Doucouré presumed doubtful, but it's definite that he's not going to be there. So
After Doucouré, I think he's their second most important player. I think in terms of that,
I think Onana.
Running and try. Yeah, no, Onana's a top player. Don't get me wrong. I do like Onana, but in terms of this season, like last season, I was looking at Onana and I was thinking, yeah, what a great talent. But in terms of this season, I just think between him, Doucouré, and maybe Keane, I think Keane has been playing well for them as well at the back. So those are the three players I was looking out for ones to watch, if you wanted to say. But yeah, I would have Emerson Royal on the left and on the left back. There's not too much threat on that side, to be fair. So
Jack Harrison, Nathan Peterson is the presumed right winger and the right back for them, who will be going at Emerson Royal. Which Jack Harrison, he was pretty decent for Leeds whenever they stayed up in their campaign. He was pretty decent under Marcelo Bielsa. This is a lot different, but he has scored some cracker goals this season. Dave, do you think Jack Harrison could be a threat to us on the right, seeing how we might have to slot in Emerson Royal, or do you have someone else in mind that you might want to see at the left back?
Look, first of all, I think the days of Ben Davies at left back are over. I think we have to take what we've seen from him at left back over the last few years as proof in the pudding, right? You know, under Jose Mourinho's days at left back were numbered. Jose was the first one to move him in to play left-sided centre-back. He clocked it very quickly. With Davies, he just doesn't have the pace or the speed to keep up with the modern-day winger. He got roasted towards the end of last season by Mbeumo against Brentford. I think there was a game against Aston Villa. He got roasted as well at that position. This season, he's played there against Fulham in the Carabao Cup game. Van de Ven spent all night long out there covering him. In the Crystal Palace game he played there, Van de Ven spent all night out on the left-hand side covering him. So Ben Davies' legs are not there for left back anymore. So I don't want to see him shoehorned in there. He just ain't good enough. For me, I agree with Ash. I think he has to stick in at centre-back today. I think you bring in Emerson Royal, and being brutally honest, I have no problem with it whatsoever. If you actually look at Emerson Royal, he's played right back, centre-back, and left back this season. He hasn't made any errors that have directly led to a goal. You know, so defensively he's sound. I have no problem with him filling him in. I think where the problem comes in is him on the ball. Now, I do think that's regressed slightly. I do think when he first came here, it was atrocious. But he worked on that, and I do think it's regressed slightly. Sometimes I think he slows the game down a little bit, where I think, you know, he needs to just be a bit quicker on the ball. But look, as long as he doesn't cost us any errors that directly lead to goals, I have no problem with him whatsoever. Play him. He should be playing. He should be playing. We don't have anybody else to play there, and Davies ain't good enough to play there.
I think that's at least three solid reasons, right? We have no one else. Ben Davies should not be playing out there. I agree with you. I agree with you on that, Dave. And then also, I think he's got the right attitude. You know, for a guy, you want a guy to go out there, put in a shift, out of position, in position, whatever it may be, coming off the bench. I think when we look at the likes of Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, which is my next question for y'all before the lineups come out, these are guys that have the right attitude. They go about it in a professional manner. I think Højbjerg's looked not as smiley as in years past whenever he was a consistent week in, week out starter. So he could be looking on the way out. But Emerson Royal, for all accounts and purposes, has been a complete professional about the lack of playing time, the lack of consistent position playing. So I like I think Ainge has alluded to the fact as well that he likes a player, or he likes players who can play in multiple positions. So, for me, I'm looking at the midfield. Before we know, Højbjerg or Skip, what are we thinking? Lo Celso maybe in the midfield? I know it's going to be Sarr. I'm thinking Kulu as well at the 10, which would mean, obviously, Brendan Johnson at the right wing. So midfield-wise, what is the best way to break down this side that's really going to be they're just going to allow us to have the ball, see if we can break them down, and when they catch us on the counter, who do you want cleaning that up alongside with Sarr is my question for you first, Ash. Højbjerg, Skip, what are you thinking?
Just quickly, Lucas Vuskovic is in attendance today, which is interesting. Sorry, go on, Ash.
Yeah, no, him and his girl, I've seen them been touring London. They were at the big Ferris wheel and they've been enjoying the London life. This young man, I can't wait for him to come to Tottenham. I know it's going to be like in 2 years or whatever it is because he's only like 15, but 16, something like that. But he looks like a grown man. His photos, he looks like a grown man. I think he's just enjoying the London life, maybe looking forward to that's good news. I can't wait for him to take in the ambiance of the home match. But Højbjerg or Skip, Ash, or Lo Celso, do you think what do you see this midfield lining up as?
It depends what Ange deems as a concern or what he thinks we're lacking. So in terms of your question, physicality, you're probably going to go for either Højbjerg or Skip in terms of trying to win that ball back in midfield, trying to get that counter press. I think that's where we are most effective, not literally from build up. Sometimes we like to win the ball when their shape's a bit off. And how you do that is by winning that ball back and then giving it to the players that are more capable of creating chances. So I think Højbjerg or Skip have those two attributes. If in terms of creativity, I think Gio Lo Celso will probably be more of a shoehorn for that position. However, I do look at Everton. They're quite physical in the midfield. We will have a lot of the ball, but I think if he's looking for energy and legs, he may go for Skip. I thought Højbjerg before the press conference. Then I kind of deeped it. I said, right, hold on. Against Forest, he brought Skip on first.
Yeah.
Against West Ham, he brought Skip on again first. So I'm thinking
a few times, yeah. And then when Basuma got sent off, wasn't his first rotational change to make Skip come in?
It was it was Brennan Johnson that came off with the head injury, and Skip came on for him, right?
But the last time we got a red card,
all right,
we subbed Brennan Johnson off. I remember I felt bad for Brennan Johnson. Make sure you are hitting a like. Look at that.
That was Chelsea, was it?
Okay, that must have been Chelsea then. I can't even remember now. We've had so many red cards and sending offs and yellows and accumulations and suspensions. I'm getting all kind of confused. But let me try and track myself back here. Midfield wise, you're saying Skip because he's been brought off of the bench before. That's what you're thinking?
Yeah, I'm thinking, and also what he said on the press conference about Skip getting a chance, about Skip playing as a 6. And I'm looking at he likes to use a lot of legs, he lacks energy. And I looked at that whole transfer with Conor Gallagher. He's got legs, he's got a lot of energy. And I'm kind of thinking maybe that's the type of player he likes and kind of wants in that midfield position. He doesn't just want a 6 to be a 6 and stay there. He wants a 6 to kind of get on the ball, run with it, or be up and down, be busy, win those second balls, as I was saying before, and then distribute that play. Højbjerg can do it. He has got more experience. He is the captain of Denmark, of course. But it'd be interesting to see whether he goes for youth over experience, or he is literally looking to offload Højbjerg to Juventus. A lot will be telling from this actual lineup. So I'm going to take a gamble. I'm going to say Skip. I think
the lineup is out, Ash, and you're absolutely correct. Yeah. Skip is in. Just on that, just quickly before we bring up the lineups, I think the reason why Skip is playing is because I believe him and Højbjerg have already had a conversation where he asked Højbjerg to sort of commit beyond January, and Højbjerg didn't want to. And I did say yesterday that I thought if Skip does start to say it today, that probably means Højbjerg is on his way out in January. So I think that's looking more likely that Højbjerg's gone in January with him going with Skip in there today.
Well, there it is. The starting lineup is, in fact, proving Ashback. Dave, sorry we didn't get a chance to ask you. I was going to see what your prediction was beforehand, but as you can see, there's the lineup. Richarlison is the feature photo man. In goal, Vicario, Pedro Porro, Cuti Romero, Ben Davies, Emerson Royale at the left back. So we were all correct in that prediction as well. Papa Matesar, Oliver Skip, Kulusevski rounds out the midfield. Johnson, Richarlison, and Son. So Richarlison gets another chance through the middle. Dave, let me ask you, I do know you have to go, so as much time as you have, I want to hear your thoughts on just the attack in general. Richarlison, 3 goals in 2 games. Do you think it could be 4 goals in 3 games today?
Look, I really do hope so. I think when it comes to Richarlison, he scored more in the last 2 games than what he did in his previous 39, which is absolutely madness. But look, he did speak about it, how the impact that the injury has had on him, that he could barely strike a ball because of the pain. Um, and look, since he's come back from his injury, he hasn't had any excuses. He's gone out there, he's performed. His all round game looks a lot more tidier in terms of hold up play, runs he's making. He's staying on side a lot more, which is better. His first touch is good. He's laying it off is good. Whereas before, all that was absolutely atrocious. You couldn't play a 1-2 with the guy. But since that, he's come back and he's been absolutely in flying form. Look, I'd love him to score again today. I'd absolutely love it. I love doing that pigeon celebration. It brings me quite a bit of joy, I must add. So I really do hope he performs. However, I have no doubt that them Everton players are going to wind him up, stuff like that. And I just worry, that I don't want him to do anything stupid today, get caught up in the moment and sort of pick up a stupid red card or anything like that. But look, I think he will score today for sure. I'm not going to lie, I'm a bit concerned about Skip in the midfield. I wonder, will that be in the deeper role or will it be in the number 8? Will Sarr end up dropping to the deeper role and be the one progressing the ball? If he does, it shows what he thinks of Ollie Skip. And for me, he confirms even more. I think Højbjerg is out of here in January. But look, I'm happy with the lineup. I think going forward, Kulusevski down the middle. One thing I think Kulusevski needs to add to his game down that middle, and I don't know whether people agree with me or not, but one thing Dele Alli done very, very well, and really he picked up about 5-10 goals a season doing it, is making runs off the back of Harry Kane, in behind Harry Kane. He done that very, very well and picked up a lot of goals and a lot of scraps, a lot of balls dropped to his feet. When that ball is especially over on the right-hand side, at Porro's feet or at Johnson's feet, I want to see him make runs in behind Richarlison, in beyond Richarlison. So when that ball does come in, you pick up 5 to 10 goals a season, just being there in behind him, waiting for the ball to drop his way. And it gives us that sort of different outlet and someone a bit different to aim at as well when we're going to cross that ball in. So I'd love to see Kulusevski add that to his game, because he's created the most chances from open play than any other Premier League player this season. So it goes to show that the creativity is there. But if he wants to add more goals to his game, playing down the middle, which is different coming in off the left, that's the way to do it. Late runs in behind Richarlison and he'll pick up goals there for sure. But look, that is it for me. I do have to bounce and I have to go and set up my own watch along. I have to go and get my referee's kit on, do my stretches and all that sort of stuff as well. So look, I want to say, first of all, a massive happy Christmas to you, Ashmatic, and to you, Jacob, and to your families. Hopefully you have a great time and a great holiday. You've been absolutely brilliant on these pre-match pump-ups, so thank you very much for your time and your opinions and all that you bring to this and the dedication to the show. So really appreciate that, guys. And lastly, happy Christmas to all you We Are Tottenham TV army out there as well. Again, same to you. Hopefully you have a great time, great holidays, and thank you so much for all your support on this show. Over the last course of the last half of the season, it's been absolutely brilliant. But look, that's it for me. I'm off out. Hopefully we get the win. Come on, you Spurs.
Do you have a score prediction for us, Dave, before you go?
Yeah, although I think it's going to be a long, frustrating game, I'm going to go 3-1 Tottenham. We're going to mince them toffees up.
Get in there, Dave.
Yeah.
There you are. Appreciate you, my friend. You have a great show. There he is, Dave with the Irish Hotspur. Make sure you are subscribed to the Irish Hotspur. It is in the title of this video, so no excuse there. Go ahead and support all Spurs content creators because they all do such a great job. So big up Dave and appreciate him for doing that. Ash, let's run through the bench real quick. This is the first time I think we've had 3 center backs on the bench, my friend. But we have Fraser Forster, Dorrington, Dyer, and Phillips, all of them on the bench tonight. Do you think maybe Dyer could be... Well, let me finish the bench real quick before I ask that question. But do you think Dyer and... Anyway, hang on. We have Forster, Dorrington, Dyer, Phillips, Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, Giovanni Lo Celso, Brian Hill, Jamie Donnelly, and Alejo Veliz. Not the strongest of benches, not the most the deepest bag to dig into when you need something, but what do you make of just 3 center backs? That's the first time this season.
Yeah, it is. I mean, look, for me personally, I want all my players to do well. I'm a Tottenham fan through and through, and I wish success to all of my players because that results in Tottenham winning games. It's plain and simple. So if Dyer was to come on and he was to do a job, for me, that's a bonus because that adds value to his actual valuation as a player in the transfer market. And hopefully someone will look at him and think, hang on a second, there's a player in there. Let me take him. So if Dyer was to come on, I'm looking at it glass half full rather than a glass half empty. Now, we have got youngsters there, Dorothy and Phillips. A lot of people want to see them, but I think we're going to wait until like maybe the FA Cup to see them get minutes, if I'm being honest. But yeah, I'm surprised. 3 centre backs is the first time. Maybe they've been doing well in training, and Ange sees a place for them in this starting lineup. Not starting lineup, in the subs bench. But I agree with you, man. Going forward, we haven't got many players to come off the bench to change the game. Maybe apart from the Soso. Valise hasn't done anything since he's come on. He hasn't had a lot of minutes to come and change things, if I'm being totally honest and if I'm being fair to him. Then you've got Donnelly. Lots of people want to see him. But it's down to Ange whether he thinks these youngsters are ready or right for certain game situations. He sees them all the time in training. So he's going to be the one to make the best assessment. And he's got the years of knowledge to kind of accredit to a player that he thinks, okay, let's give this kid a try. I think he can do something. When players are ready, they're more or less ready. We've been linked with like a host of 19-year-olds, 20-year-olds. So that means to me, the guys in the academy, are they quite to the Premiership level that Ange wants? Do you know what I mean? Like, we've been linked with a guy from Ajax. I don't know if you've seen it. We've been linked
the young 18-year-old.
Yeah. We've been linked with a guy from Copenhagen who's a striker. So they're all quite
Rooney something. Yeah.
All of them are fairly young. So it just shows me that maybe the academy's good, but for what Ange wants, maybe it might be an inch too far. I don't know. I'm just throwing things out there. For me, I think Brian Hill has to be sold this window, or at least loaned out. I don't think he's the answer. I don't think he makes the right decisions when he's 1v1. I don't think he's strong enough on the ball. And I just think in terms of what you need to be in Premiership, you need to be an explosive or fast winger. He's neither of them. He's not fast. He's not explosive. Therefore, maybe in a Liga, you get a bit more time on the ball. You get more chance to kind of be, technical and dribble past players. He just doesn't have any of the attributes for me to be in an Ange system or playing for Tottenham, in my opinion. I've seen enough of him now. And for me, if you're not going to beat your player, at least have end product in terms of, crossing the ball, assisting the ball, through balls, shooting, doing something as a winger. But he's not doing anything at the moment, in my opinion. Hopefully he proves me wrong and comes on the scores today. But I just seen enough of him, and I don't think he can quite cut it at Spurs.
No, I agree with you on Brian Hill personally. But hey, while it's not January, I just try to support him while I can, but I do agree with you. Long term, I don't see, like Giovanni Lo Celso, I don't really think that he's going to be the answer for anything that we're doing long term necessarily going forward. But for right now, he's wearing the kit, and if he does come on, I hope he does well. Just like seeing Skip out there. Look, for me, let's also take a look at Everton's lineup. So I know you mentioned old Mr. Keane there in the center back, but if we look at Everton's starting lineup, they got Jordan Pickford in net, Patterson, Tarkowski as their captain. Now, Tarkowski has been a very good center back this season. I think SofaScore has him rated higher than Michael Keane at this current juncture, but they brought in Braithwaite for their center back, and Mikalenko is fit enough to start. Amadou Onana and Ghana and Garner in their midfield. McNeil out there on the left, Harrison on the right, and Calvert-Lewin through the middle. I thought some people had heard maybe Danjuma gets the start because maybe he knows kind of what we're doing. I think that's irrelevant because Danjuma playing under the Conte system is completely irrelevant to the way that we're playing under Ange Postecoglou. But when I look at their lineup, for me, Ash, there's really... Like we kind of mentioned Jack Harrison. I think he's decent enough that he could cause problems if Emerson Royale's not on his P's and Q's today. But Dwight McNeil, for me, is really that person in attack that I see it going through him if they find success, in my opinion. So what we really have to do, I need Pedro Porro to be the great defender that he's been this past, 3-4 games. and I need him to really lock up that winger like he's done to some other better wingers than Dwight McNeil. But for me, Dwight McNeil is an absolute threat this season. He's been absolutely phenomenal for them. Well, maybe not phenomenal, but every time I've watched them, the like 4 Everton games I've watched this season, every time I see them cooking offensively, it's through Dwight McNeil. Now, if it's Lewin finishing it off, if it's Harrison with a beautiful shot, it just, for me, Dwight McNeil is going to be a problem. Amadou Onana in the midfield as well is a key cog who drops in between the 2 center backs that really stifles a lot of attack. And if Richarlison is not mentally tough today, I think Onana is going to give him a lot of fits. When he's trying to get in between Tarkowski and Braithwaite, I think it's going to be a little bit of trouble for him. Ash, when you look at this lineup from Everton, is there any names that stand out? You're like, yes, he may cause us a problem, or this guy may be able to defensively. I think Tarkowski's a good defender, but surely Son, not Pedro Porras, excuse me, Son, Richarlison, and Brennan Johnson should be able to get in behind Braithwaite and Tarkowski, right?
It's just about the space that Everton will allow us. I mean, they're gonna allow us a lot of space in the the mid third, if that makes sense. So in the middle of the pitch, we'll have a lot of space there. I think when it's the final third, that's when they're gonna jam pack the box. And so there's going to be a lot of space out wide for Son to operate. But in terms of him crossing the ball and finding someone, it's going to be so busy in there. The movement from Richarlison is going to have to be really crafty. We're going to have to be smart on the way we open them up. I just think Mikilenko, I think him being in that starting the lineup, he's really good at getting forward. I know he's a fullback, but they might use him as a wing back, and he's gonna. Sometimes I've seen him being their highest player further forward. So he's someone that we may have to look out for, in my opinion. And Nana, as you said, he's going to be an extra blanket alongside Ghana. So those 2 there, they're going to be a bit of a problem. Calvert-Lewin, you can never write him off. I know he hasn't been as effective this season. He's come off the back of an injury, but on his day, he can be a threat. Do you know what I mean? McNeil, I've seen him at Burnley. I've seen him at Everton. Obviously, the manager knows him well from the last job, the last team in Burnley. So Sean Dyche is going to utilize him as much as he can. But overall, we should have more than enough if we're on our game. They will frustrate us, as I said, because they're just literally going to let us have the ball. But they say, look, you can have it all you want. It's up to you to break us down. And they're going to be doing the route one over the top or quick transitions through the middle. But I just think the Kure was a massive part of their counterattacks. The Kure was the one that kind of sat in that transition. They kind of play that ball as an out ball to him. He holds the play up, and then they look to find the other wingers, etc. So with him not being there, it's a massive plus for Spurs today. And I'm hoping, as I said before, the fatigue and tiredness seeps into the game as the game goes on. So even if we don't start fast and they frustrate us in the first half and second half, you know, it's not quite going our way and they try to get back in the game, I'm hoping as they get more confidence, that's when the gaps open up. 60th minute, 70th minute, that's when something happens. If that doesn't happen, I'm hoping Ange tweaks a few things, whether he makes us a little bit more expansive, because sometimes Spurs play a little bit narrow and compact as well to create little short passing line avenues.
Yeah, them little triangles.
I
like them. When we build out the back, we do that very nicely.
Exactly. But if he can see that, you know, that's not quite working, I'm hoping he tells the midfield to open up, to make the pitch as big as possible. And I'm hoping that either Skip or Sarr, because I think there'll be a double pivot, just going back to Dave's point, I think between the two of them, they would take turns to kind of push forward, if that makes sense. So I think Ange, looking at the Celtic team, when he had Matt O'Reilly and he had Conor McGregor in that midfield double back pivot with the Matete as the Japanese third midfielder, they all took turns to kind of jump forward and help the attack. And I'm hoping that's the same with this. I'm looking to see a lot more end products from Sarr. Skip, remember, he had that nosebleed when he was high up. against Newcastle, had that shot saved. And I'm hoping there's a lot more industry. Those two have got a running behind. As Dave was saying for Kulusevski, he wants him to run into the box a lot more. I want to see my 8 from Saar running in the box, or if not, Skip running in for the box. I want to see them interchange and just be a lot more fluid in that midfield and help Richarlison, Son, and Johnson in that attack. I need to see Johnson taking shots as well, letting it off, as well as Richie getting on the end of things. So, yeah, man, there's a lot we can do, a lot of ifs, buts, and maybes, but it won't be easy, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with you there on that, Ash. Look, we are in the final 10 minutes of the show. So those of you who've been tuning into this pre-match pump-up, whenever your boy Jacob from United Spurs of America is hosting, you know I like to interact with the boys in the chat, girls in the chat, everybody in the chat. Let me know your score prediction and who is scoring your goals. Now, look, I've left the lineup there enough. But look, I need everybody in the chat. Everybody, first of all, happy holidays, Merry Christmas. Make sure you are hitting a like on the video again, but make sure you let me know what the final score is. Who's winning the game? You know, I see Neil Jackson here has got a 3-2. But Neil, who's winning this game? Is it 3-2 Spurs? Is it 3-2 Everton? Who scores the goals for Tottenham Hotspur? Those are the questions I want to know. And Neil Jackson says Hill, Emerson, and Son. So that's as easy as it is. Get involved in the chat. This is how I like to interact with people in the chat. That's just my style, the way I roll. And again, if you do want to find some more of me, you can. There's the link for United Spurs of America, the channel that I run. You can find me over there. I will pull up the link for Ash's channel while I get his predictions. But before I do that, look, perfect. Y'all are already doing it perfectly. What is that? Okay, so Sports Clip has got Everton with the 2-0 victory over us with Dominic and Onana. Wow, very nice. It got us losing. No goals at home, Sports Clips. What's going on there? Donovan got a 4-1. Richie with a brace, Son and Kulusevski. Big up, Paul. Appreciate the compliment there. Matty I says 4-1 Spurs, come on. I thought this was a come on you Spurs, but it's the Spurs boys. Big up 4-1. Emil 2-1. Melting Spoon 2-0. Son and Richarlison. Son with an assist as well. I see Son getting an assist, but while everyone gets their predictions in, and I will run through them, Ash, how do you see this going down, my friend?
Yeah, so I looking at what happened against Forest, we were a little bit flat, but I think that the reason why was because Brennan got injured and Skip came on, and I think we lost that dynamic out wide. And then also when we had a player sent off, we also lost Richie up top, so we lost another dynamic again in terms of getting in behind, being direct, having someone as a pivotal point to aim at. Now we're going to have those two players back. I think that will help us with the home crowd, the home advantage as well. I think we're going to disrupt their run. They've never gone on a run where they've gone, I think, is it 4 games they've won back to back? I don't think they've done 5 games since 1970, I believe. So that would be, they would equal their record of their best run of games back to back. The last time they went 4 games, I believe, was 2002 underneath Moyes. So I don't expect them to equal their best run. So I do believe we will get the win. We will get the W. And it will be very tight. It will be close. As I said, it'll be frustrating. There won't be a lot of goals in it. But I think I'm going to stick with my prediction 2-1. I'm going to stick with it. Very and nice. I think who will score? Who will score? I'm going to go over Richie.
Scoring them goals, man.
Richie will get a goal. And I'm predicting a cheeky Porro.
Porro. I've been hearing Pedro Porro's due. I've been hearing that he's due, Ash. So if he gets on the score sheet, it is about time. Pedro Porro.
Richarlison. Kulu's going to be a key pass or assist. Kulu will be in there somewhere. But
you know, I think Kulu's going to be instrumental to whatever we do today. Personally, I've been one of those. Anyone who's listened to me or my opinions throughout the last maybe 6 months or so hasn't heard me touting the best of opinions for Dejan Kulusevski. But you know what? I'm here to say that I was wrong. I got it wrong. You put Kulu in the middle with the mask on. Hey, excuse me, sir. I wasn't familiar with this style of game, but he's got the game, my friend. Let's see what the chat is saying for our score predictions real quick. We got a lot of 3-1. This kind of seems to be the the thought. I've been hearing that a lot throughout the week, and Ash, David as well also predicted a 3-1. 3-1 Spurs win. So it'll be interesting to see if that's the final scoreline. A lot of people could have made a lot of money, I guess. Ours got 3-1 to Spurs. Richie will score for sure. Melting Spoon's got Richarlison scoring as well. 3-1 Spurs, Son, and Skip to get a goal. Do you think Skip's actually going to score? Because the ball did fall to him in a very precarious area last time I seen, or maybe it wasn't his last performance, but I clearly remember there was a moment, it was just Skip, goalkeeper, ball at Skip's feet, do something with it, and the goalkeeper saved it with his foot. Do you see Skip getting a goal? He will pop up in dangerous areas. He's been known to do that in the Postecoglou system.
Yeah, I mean, the first time I noticed it was against Barcelona in a friendly, and I was like, oh, actually, he scored a goal. Oh, Skip might be able to do it this season. Played against Brentford, was missing. Couldn't see him. Where's Wally? That's what I was saying about him. I couldn't find him. Since then, SARS came. SAR got the goal against Man United. And since that game, SAR hasn't scored. So it'll be nice if one of them got the goal, man. They've got goals in them, but they're just not producing it. I mean, SAR, out of the two of them, shoots a lot more. I think he lets it go. Skip can run into the box, so why not? I need to see it from one of them. I need to see at least one of them help that, because it's going to be a packed box. If you think about it, if we've got 3 attackers up top plus Kudos 4 against their 8 men just sitting in, can you imagine? Remember the Liverpool game? We had to get a deflection from Porro to score that goal against that 9 men. So I'm hoping these guys let off shots. I'm hoping they just throw Foster's in. I'm hoping, like, because you just never know. You can get a ricochet. Sometimes you just need that. So we just, how many shots we've had against, like, Aston Villa, West Ham, Newcastle? Do you know what I mean? But
that's a good point.
Necessarily putting them away. We're being a bit gun shy. Newcastle's the only team where we actually went in. But other teams now are kind of just stuttering. So we just need every player to kind of just say, look, I'm going to try a thing. I'm going to shoot. You know what I mean? I'm going to try and do it early and try and make it quick. Because when you take too long, you procrastinate, which Kulu does do sometimes. He spends a little bit too long, for my opinion. If he can speed it up, will be a problem. Do you know what I'm saying? Kulu goes left, he can go right. He dribbles a hell of a lot, but I just need him to kind of shoot at the end of it. I need the action at the end of it. That's all. That's what I'm saying. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, there was a few weeks there where I thought we were passing and maybe too much when teams were sitting back, and then they were saying, oh, you can't break down a low block, where we were just passing, and then you would see 3 or 4 people at the top of the box, within the box, just kind of standing around, not really making any runs. Almost like we ran out of ideas of what to do. And I don't want to run into that situation.
Yeah, it's like we have 5 men just standing up there. Why are you just standing up there? I need one of you to come short, one to go long, one to go wide.
And you just got those 3 people just kind of standing there, and then one person on each side like, I'm going to make the run. I'm going to make the run. And it's like, I'm going to make the run. Just make the run.
Make the run, damn it. It's so frustrating, bro.
Make the run.
Just do that. But that's what I said. Tottenham are better as a counter-attacking outfit sometimes, or winning those second balls or the counter press. That's when we get a goal or a mistake, or some pressing from high, or Richie pressing, winning that ball high up that pitch and then making that. Do you know what I mean? So certain times, I know, like Dave was saying, he hates it when we play it slow, but sometimes when we play it slow, it just draws the opposition out, and then that's speed it up because there's spacing behind, and then we can create that goal. So it's just, you know what I mean? It depends on the game state, in my opinion. I don't know. I could be wrong.
Let me run through some more of this chat here. We've got Lynn with Spurs 2-1, Son with the brace. Love to see that. Big in the bin. So funny. Mungie says 4-3 to Spurs. Love to see that. 3-0 Spurs from Jermaine. Joss got a 3-1. Richie with a hat trick. Richie with a hat trick versus his old club. Would love to see it. Don't think it'll happen personally, but would love to see it. Sideshow Gaming with a 3-1. Rudy 2 with a 2-1. Late Richie goal to win it. Nail biter going down to the wire apparently for Rudy Toot there. Abby's here's got a 3-0 Spurs, 3-1 Spurs, Son 2, Skip 1, 2-1 Everton for in the bin. Sar Johnson Emerson goals, 3-2 Emerson goal. Would love to see that personally. Would be good for him. So let's see. Let's run through some more of these before we end off the show. Got Patrick with a 3-1, Emil with a 2-1, Bob Down Under 3-0. Bobby the Greek 3-1. Mick M 2-2. Keith 2-1 Spurs. Son and Richie. Ruzy's got a 3-0 Spurs. 3-1 with a couple of Richie hat tricks predicted in the chat. Love to see that. Cream is back. Says hello. Spurs 3-1. Richarlison, Porro, and Romero. Love to see some of these predictions, y'all. Appreciate y'all getting those in. Got a couple more. Gabriel 4-1. Surf Souse. I don't know how to say this name, but Spurs 4 goals to the 1. Love to see it. Chris's Crypto's got 2-0. Marco 3-0. Big up Sean says Spurs 3-0. Wow, love to see that as well. Andrew Seymour with the 3-1 Spurs. Alan Bennett with a 1-1. My score prediction before we say goodbye is my score prediction, Ash. I'm going to go a little bit bodacious with it.
Why not?
Last time I was up here, I said Udogi's going to open his scoring campaign with Tottenham Hotspur, and he did. So since I'm able to predict things on here and they come to light, I'm saying 4-1, baby. Just a little bit more than a 3-1. Just a little bit. I want to say 5, but Sean Dyche, what I think is going to happen, we're going to get 2 quick goals. Then Everton are going to be forced to come out, and they're going to come out and play. And when you come out to play with Ainge Postecoglou and the boys, sometimes it don't go your way if you ain't a Tottenham Hotspur fan. So I will say it this way. We're going to get to 2 goals. I see them nicking 1 back, and then we put 2 more on their head. That's the way I see it going down. Would love to see it personally. I think Son gets 1 and a couple assists. I think Richie gets 1. Some saying Pedro Porro he's been sniffing, and it's about time he gets his. So I'm saying I think Pedro Porro does get back on the score sheet. And then someone in the midfield, whether it's Kulu, Sarr, Oliver, someone in that midfield has to score. I don't know if Brennan Johnson necessarily will, but we'll also love a Brennan Johnson. But I think it's going to be Son, Richie, Pedro Porro, and someone in the midfield. That's my for the 4. If we do score 4,
they've only conceded 10 this season. So imagine they concede 14. That would be beautiful. That would be so great. I would love that. Do you know what I mean? Sean Dyche
that we are meant to break every single stat that there is. Personally,
I love it.
All the myths, all the hoodoos and voodoos. We're here to break it, baby. I'm here to tell you right now. That is a fact. But look, Ash, I've really enjoyed the chat with you, my friend. Make sure you are subscribed to Southview Coys if you don't mind. But big up to everyone who is here. Make sure you do hit a like on the video and stick around to We Are Tottenham TV. There will be a watch along in just a little bit of time. But again, if you want to see some more of me, you can go on over to United Spurs of America when you're done here, and you can find some more of me over there at America's #1 Tottenham Hotspur channel. Yes, Ash.
Also, I want to shout out my boy. He's going to be on the watch along, Marlon. He's from Southview Coys TV. So
hey, there it is. Seamless transition of Southview Coys. Come on.
See what
Wait, you gotta go this way.
Throw the baton to him, like he's just gonna catch it with his mouth.
Hey, Marlon. Big up Marlon. Big up Southview Coys. There you go. Double reasons to subscribe to Southview Coys. You got Marlon. You got Ashmatic. You also got Haz. But big up to y'all over there. Make sure you do stick around for the watch along. A couple more predictions before we say goodbye, just because I said I will say hello. AJ's got a 4-1. Love to see it. Kong Oliver, I think 2-0. Timmy. Big up Timmy. Says 3-1. Richie scores versus his old club. Come on. I think he's got to. I think he's going to want to. DYT says, I put some money on you, Dogie, scoring in that match. Thanks, Jacob. I don't know if you should always listen to me because I do get it wrong more often than not, but I'm glad that you made a little bit of change. Enjoy that. Enjoy that coffee, my friend. Callum got a 3-0 Tottenham. Love to see it. Martin with a 2-1 defeat to Everton. He fears that, but maybe a 2-2. Martin, have no fear. Tottenham Hotspur is here, and we are out of here. But make sure you stick around to We Are Tottenham TV. As always, folks, come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.